Welcome to Just Drinking Problems. Today we are graciously greeted by Jones from Whatnot. He's actually one of, if not the best, Whatnot sellers that I know. And actually, we talked a little bit before we started recording here, and I gotta tell you, man, I'm really jealous of you. I heard they were coming out, but I didn't realize they were going to be this quick. And out of everyone I know, you're the first person I know to actually have a sex robot. So how is that?
That was, well, you had to put in pre-sale for that. That was one
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So, I've been on a waiting list pre-sale for at least 4 years now, I think it was. So, I might be an old fucker, but I am cutting edge whenever it comes to certain things like that. So
High tech, bro. I like it. No, I always hit somebody with something, and you rolled with it. That was perfect. But yeah, Jones. So I found you through Whatnot. Um, at some point in time, obviously decided to become a seller, but why the gold and silver? What happened in your life that led you down that path?
well, I've told the story a few times on the stream or whatever, but in January of last year, my dad fell and broke a hip. And so there was a lot of time in the hospital, a lot of time in rehab that I was spending the night there. And so, you don't get much sleep in those places like that. And it just so happens before that I found the app and had a free $15, and I was buying albums for my middle son off of the platform because it was easy and it was shipped straight to your house, and you could find good albums for cheap. And so I was just doing something for him, and I found the coin category one night, don't even remember how, and I bought a 10-ounce Geiger that night,
Nice.
and it has actually been on since then. So I have not slowed down since.
You got bit by the bug and then eventually started selling.
Yes, yes, it is. Well, that is one thing about the platform. If you buy, you're gonna have to turn around and sell just to supplement your, unless you're like some on the platform that have an endless supply. There is no endless supply on this side, so I have to be able to fund the beast and keep it going and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So were you into coins or bullion at all before that?
No,
Okay.
had zero knowledge, zero desire. When I say zero knowledge, I knew what a peach dollar was, I knew what a Morgan dollar was, but I did not own one. And My parents had a small collection that they had accumulated over the years. I do remember one of the things that we used to do with my father, probably in the early '80s, was he would get rolls and rolls of dimes from the bank, and we would sit there at the table trying to find the pre-64 ones. That was something. So I guess I do have some experience with it from way back when, but nothing active in the last 30 years, 40 years before I picked this up last year.
Okay. Nice. So this became more of like an interest or a hobby, or is there any like investment idea in your head with why you wanted to get
Well, I
into?
have a built-in savings whenever, if anything, if shit goes south, I have fractional. I have a lot of stuff I can trade with. So it started as a personal collection that there is no personal collection now. It's if it will resell where I can reinvest into the product, that's what I do. I will turn around and I will flip. The one thing that I do like the most are toners, usually American Silver Eagles or Libertads, things along those lines. Those are my two favorites. Morgans also, but whenever it comes to anything else, it's fair game. Someone asked for it, I got it. The price is right, I will sell it.
Yeah, your table is always full. It's impressive. And I gotta say, this is really weird because I'm so used to listening to the sound of your voice for hours, but now I actually see you like you're a real person.
I'm sorry.
No, normally I'm just looking at all the pretty silver.
Yes, yes. I thought about setting up and just having a photo of me on the desk and letting you just look at all the coins so I could sell stuff while we're doing this, but nah.
That would be funny. Double streaming. But you started, and then within 1 year, how many followers you get? It's over 10,000, right?
By the time this episode probably comes out, I'll be at 21,000.
Damn,
I
that's impressive.
am last night after last night's show, which was May 3rd, I will went it was 20,800. So I'm 200 away from 21,000.
That is insane. Can you explain it?
No, I have no idea. It's just it once you hit a certain level, and once you that's the one thing about this platform is consistency. You have to have the consistent days that you stream. You have to have the consistent times. Um, Fill in with pop-ups around, or times around, because major holidays I'll turn around and I'll schedule a show for 6 in the morning, because a lot of people are still get up and still and have the day off, and so they get started early. And I usually pick up a different person at 6 in the morning whenever I'm streaming them. I'll come home at lunch, and I'll do a pop up for an hour. And I like doing this. I had a retail background. I have a selling background, and I've always never, whatever it was, I enjoyed selling it. I enjoyed connecting the person with what they were looking for, and I found satisfaction in that. And this is just a different way of doing it, and it's a more expensive way, but this is just a more expensive way of being able to do that. And there are a lot of people that I spend a lot of time on the platform. I'm fortunate with my job that I'm able to work and also have my phone on me, where I can sit there and be in different streams, go in different rooms. But the other good thing about this platform is all the great people like yourself,
Thank you.
Kitty's Collectibles, Let's Go, Southern, Ghost Vet, endless number of people that I've made contacts with that I consider friends. I will sit there and I will trade thousands of dollars with the people, and I've never physically met them except for Kitty. I've never physically met a single one of them, but I'll sit here and I'll send them $1,000 worth of coins, knowing that their word is good, that they will product back to me or get me the money. And family, the family atmosphere, the just the camaraderie, the you know here I am, I'm going through a tough point right now with my folks. They're elderly, and it's a way for me to be able to get things off my chest. Is That's my therapy. I don't have to pay a therapist. I can turn around and I can hop on a stream. I love hopping on for 20 minutes doing 4 giveaways and then raiding out to people. It's incredible to me that I'm able to get 50 people, 100 people in a 20-minute period into a room, where I can turn around and then raid it into somebody else and let them sell to them. And I'm just giving away silver, gold, 90%, whatever it is I'm giving away. But that way of being able to connect with my people, I really do enjoy that.
Absolutely. That's one thing I've really enjoyed too, is it's a community of like-minded but good people, and every now and then you'll get a bad apple, but it's really easy to spot them out. And people talk too, be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't know, he did a deal with him and never paid him." Like, so you figure out who the bad ones are, but for the most part, most people just want to do you right, and do right by you. You possess an incredible power. That and very gracious too. Just jump out of somebody's show. Like you rated me once, which you totally. Anytime that you've rated me, I've had an incredible show. So that's all thanks to you. Um,
I rated you one show twice with over a
right.
hundred people. It blew your mind the second time. So
Absolutely. And then came in with a fake name. Um,
that's another thing I enjoy doing. But
yeah.
we won't talk about that.
It was really fun. But man, most people would just be happy to get, most sellers would just be happy to get 20, 30 people. And then you rated me with it was three figures and then left. I didn't even know you left. And then you came back with another three figures and like, that dude has the Tesseract. Like that's the Godfather right there. It's incredible.
Well, again, it's just one of those things that I'm on the app a lot. People see my name a lot. when my name pops up that I've got a show going on or whatever. I try to create a fun environment. I try to create an environment where oh, we get a little spicy sometimes. We get a little crazy sometimes. But it's all in good fun. I may raise my voice every now and then if something is going for less than spot, but for the most part, it is what it is. That's why you do the dollar and goes. If you want it to be a certain price, you set your price, and if it sells, it sells. If it don't, it don't. But just I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed. I've made some friends with some of the biggest people on the platform, and they've helped me a lot along the way. I was very lucky in the beginning that the goal is to get to your 1,000 sales where you can get that instant payout, so
Hmm.
you can turn around and reinvest in product faster. Um, and one piece of advice to anybody that may see this that is thinking about streaming that has got less than 1,000 sales: if Whatnot sends you an email saying they want to talk to you, answer that, because I was able to get a personal coach. One of the questions he asked me in the very beginning is, "What's some of the barriers you're facing?" I was like, waiting 10 days, basically a turnaround per show to get my funds so I can turn around and reinvest in product. I was less than 500 sales at that point in time, and he looked at my history, looked at my good reviews. He was like, "You seem to be on a good track." Turned it on. Next show, I print my receipts. The money is there, and I hit it, send it to the bank. And, that's very important. Being able to do that, to turn around and reinvest in your product, and I do most of the funds that I do, except for the supplies and some of the other things that I have to take out. Just about 100% of what I make turns around and goes back into new product and stuff like that.
That is awesome, dude. I've never even heard of that. I didn't know that happened to you. You were halfway to the 1,000 and got instant payout.
That's why I say I've had two other people tell me I got this email immediately before I cut them off. I was like, answer it. If you get an email from Whatnot, just answer it. That is the best piece of advice you can do, because all it is 15 seconds of your time. If it turns into nothing, it's nothing. But it can be two other people that's happened to that I know of, and it's a tremendous help. It is a tremendous help.
Man, well, even Whatnot loves you. I know when I first
I
found
don't know
you,
about that, but
they're still gonna charge you fees, but it sounds like they love
yeah.
you. When I first found you, it was just your demeanor. Like I knew that if I was going to swipe, I was getting exactly what was in your hand. I wasn't like gambling it on some colorful wheel. Like you were always just being really generous with the giveys, and everybody in your chat seems to be like get along well because you never know. Every now and then you're going to get somebody, but some people's shows the chat's kind of toxic. But
Yes.
not with
Yes.
yours. Everybody seems to know each other and love each other, and it's just like it's a nice place to chill.
I do have a core group that basically shows up every show or most shows and everything along those lines. And I'm very lucky with that. I mean, I can sit here just in my mind, I can think of about 50 people that I will see their names scroll all across at some point during the show. And that's the hard part running solo whenever you got a room with 50 people, 80 people, over 100 people, sitting there trying to keep up the chat, run your auctions. You got these on your screen. If you've never been on this side of the screen, when someone buys something from your store, your buy now, it pops a little, their image pops just like it does whenever it's sold, and that gets distracting, and making sure whatever system you use, once an auction's over with, so you can get it to the right person afterwards. Different people use different ones. My personal ones, I use number bags. Auction one goes in the bag, goes in a tray, and I try to go through as fast as I can, move as many lots as I can, because that is the one thing that annoys me. I guess annoys is the wrong word, but I don't stick around in streams a long time whenever they're like running auctions every 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I I gotta find product. I gotta find time. If it's one of my people I like hanging out with, I'll sit there and do that. But for the most part, if I don't know you, if I've never bought from you before, and you're sitting there and it's taking you a long time between auctions to figure out what it is, I'll exit that room and I'll go find another one, and give someone else an opportunity or whatever it is, because um, I've got a finite amount of time that I have to do this, and so I got to get things done. So
No, I totally get that. If their music's good and they're funny, I'll stick around.
yeah,
But I like it when people keep going. And honestly, um, different personalities obviously rub me different ways. Like yours, I'm drawn to, and I won't say any names, but there was somebody, you know who I'm talking about. They're constantly yelling. I'm like, bro, I can't even listen to this, much less give you my money, even if I wanted your stuff. Like, I couldn't even do it. I stuck around just to see if maybe that was like something that when I got in, I missed what happened right before. But no, like the whole time they were yelling at me, I was like,
no, he was animated. He was animated for the. I was in that room till 2 o'clock this morning. I didn't. I mean, the guy was a dollar and going slab gold ounces.
that's impressive.
He was doing raw some raw bullion also, as far as ounces of gold and half ounces and stuff like that. But that's going to be a name that you're going to see on the platform. He's going to do very well for himself.
It
And
looks like he already is.
I did a little investigating on him this morning and today. He's legit. He's going to be legit. So,
That's good.
but
And
yes, he was animated. So
yeah, like I said, each their own different personalities. But man, to be able to just buck and go an ounce of gold, that's incredible.
yeah, yeah. Well, I figured out his business after sitting there. That's another reason is I like sitting there and trying to figure out other people's business models and how they make it successful and how they can do different things like that. So I can try to. You always reinvent yourself if you are not trying to reinvent yourself or trying to change or trying to learn. Then you're going to not be successful, because
Agree with that.
just like we see trends in coins, trends in bullion, trends in what's popular today is not going to be popular tomorrow. And if you are behind and don't keep up with it, then you're going to get stuck with some inventory that is going to not not do like you need it to. And his particular business model is he's working off of consignment. People are consigning huge lots to him, and he is turning around. He's just basically making a commission. This is not his money. That I mean, that's let me get. I'm just thinking that this is the way it is because most people that operate that way, they don't have any skin in that game. They're just going to make their 6%, 5%, whatever it is, whether it's $3,000 or if it got to $4,000 or sold for $2,000, he's going to get a percentage, the same percentage, no matter what. It's the person on the other side that's going to not get what they wanted. But most of those collections that he's buying, they were bought when an ounce of gold was $1,500, $2,000. So even if he only gets $3,000 with fees, the family is still making money. They're not getting what today's value is, but they're not losing. They didn't buy it yesterday and selling it today. So
Yeah, that's smart though. That's a good way to do it. Yeah,
you
I
got what you got to have the connections, and you've got to have the financial backing in order to, because he does have to put up a certain percentage in order to gain access to these. Most of the time you have, in order to gain access to these collections, you have to put up a certain percentage. And sometimes he probably does buy outright collections, and like he was saying last night, if you got a collection, I'll buy it. But you've got to have some deep pockets to do it that way.
right, yeah. So you basically took a little chunk of money, invested, and as you sold and bought more, like your collection kind of expanded?
Um,
Did you grow
yeah,
slowly?
yeah, that was a good way to say it. Yeah, I had a lot of, I had some extra income that was sitting there that wasn't doing anything for me other than a couple percentage points, and so made the decision to let's go this route. I mean, precious metals, you know, just like the stock market, you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows, and the key is to buy it on the low and sell it on the high. And so I just got into it and it turned into a life of itself. Made a lot of mistakes along the way. I've lost a lot of money doing this, but I have been able to recover. And again, my goal is to eventually create a second revenue stream. I will never do this full time. um Can't. Insurance, family, things along those lines. Now if Whatnot started offering insurance, not as a contract employee, but as an actual employee, then we could talk. But I don't see a way that I would be able to do this full time, even though I would love to. But it's going to be a second revenue stream, and it'll be a way to just, got a 17-year-old going off to college here in August. You know, just help him and pay for. I got a 12-year-old still, so we still got stuff to do with him for the next 10 years, getting him through college and stuff like that. So be able to do things like that and not have to dip into your everyday salary and stuff like that is a nice way to live. Not having to worry about, well, not having to worry about, the next paycheck, or can I buy this, and having to worry about it. I'm happy that I'm able to, if I want to buy something, I can buy something. Not an ounce of gold at this moment in time, but I'm going to get there. But
And
if I need to buy something for the house, or if I want to buy something for myself, I can go do it, and it's not going to crimp me for the next month.
yeah, because all the metal on your table right now, that's savings, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is exactly. I mean, like I said, if I stop selling right now, I still got an investment.
Yep.
Um, I would have to stop buying, but I've got an investment that I can sit there, and it'll eventually it will appreciate. So hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the prices keep going up, but it sounds like there was maybe a negative, a downtime in your life, and you happened to fall into it, but you built something great out of it, and now it's helping you currently, but also in the future. You think this is going to continue being maybe a little bit bigger, but a hobby business, side gig type of thing.
Yeah, well, it is a second job, and anyone that would is thinking about doing this, you have to put the time into it. On what you put into it, you will reap out of it. If you only put an hour a week, or 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week into it, you're not going to be successful doing this. I watched a little bit of Super Bowl, but that was probably the first time that I watched television in 8 months. After my job, after I do stuff with my family, after I, do stuff, I dedicate the rest of the night till I go to sleep. I'm doing something coin related. I'm doing something for the next show. Just like if I wasn't sitting here talking to you right now, I would go ahead and be preloading stuff for my Wednesday show, getting my desk set up, getting product ready. Just while we were sitting here, I saw two things flash up on my screen that I sold out in my store. So I gotta, I would do shipping of that after this. And just it's always a cycle. You're always doing something related to this. And I'm not sitting on the couch watching a television being a potato. I'm learning something, and I'm always learning something. I always want to learn something, because there's always something to learn when it comes to this. The person that says they know everything is wrong. I mean, there's just too much associated with the different things. And some people have things, categories that they are specialized in and only want to do that. I'm not that person. I deal with bullion. I deal with the Morgans. I'll deal with the seated. I'll deal with the bust halves. Just if it's 90% bullion, gold, platinum. I bought my first palladium here in the last 2 weeks. Just trying to, you know, bring product, people, currency. I deal with a lot of currency. That's one area where I am very lacking in, that I need to learn. I need to ramp up my knowledge on currency and stuff like that. But there's only so much you need to know about silver cert, or $2 red seal, $5 red seal, stuff like that. But when you start getting to Confederate notes and the Black Eagles and the obsolete notes and things along those lines, I'm so lacking. That's going to be my next area I'm going to concentrate in, and learn about. So,
Yeah, last night somebody, I forget their name, but they were asking about Canadian paper money, I think.
yep, there was some Canadian paper money. I I don't know if there's any money in that. That's
Yeah.
why I don't. The Canadian, the silver, the 50%, just like ours, they have the silver and the clad. I can deal with that, but when it comes to the paper money, I'm not sure about that one. So I'm gonna leave I don't deal with a lot of foreign stuff. I'll leave that alone. Foreign silver, you can sort of fake your way through. If it's 8%, look at the size of it. You can sort of guesstimate what melt's
Right.
going to be on it or spot's going to be on it. But when it comes to paper, I'm sitting there looking at uh, uh, something I would be think would be a Japanese note from World War II. You think would be very valuable or something, but it's not. But you turn around, you get this other note, and it's worth $30. I'm like, why? But see, that's where I got to learn. That's where I got to learn. So,
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of stick to my own creations, and you're right. It definitely takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You make it look easy. It's not that easy, especially what you do running by yourself. I refuse to do a show without my wife because she makes it fun. If I was doing it by myself, I'd be nervous and screwing everything up. But you make it look like it's like, yeah, it's Wednesday, bro. Is what I do.
well, it's easy because I've put all the time into it, prepping and getting everything ready, and all I got to do is hit start show, and the rest of it will take care of itself. Like I said, that goes back to my retail background. I've always sold something, and just being prepared. That's the one thing. If anyone's thinking about doing this, uh, don't start a show without being prepared, because one, you'll lose your ass. Two, you'll embarrass yourself. And that's the other thing is, if the old saying, fake it till you make it. Sometimes you just have to do that. And you just have to say, just embellish a little bit, but pride myself on, if I'm telling somebody something, that's why I keep my work phone next to me, because I do a lot of research on eBay. Whenever I tell someone's a price, I'm not bullshitting them. I'll sit there and I'll pull out the phone and say, "Here, see, I say sold comps last 2 weeks. This is what I'm telling you it's worth, and that's why I'm selling it at that price." And a lot of research and stuff along those lines. So it takes a lot of work, but again, I enjoy doing it.
What's your biggest sell? Like one point in time, one swipe, one auction, biggest number.
What was been one of my trusted hosts, which I've sort of been kind of, I don't know if it's notorious or famous for, but the current record I have is $1,579. I have had a couple of sales where another streamer came in and was looking for gold product, and I happen to have an abundance of it at that point in time. That one was close to $2,000, but I haven't had any of those busted web moments where he comes in and buys $170,000 worth of stuff, or $100,000 worth of stuff, or something along those lines. But
Yeah, you wish, right?
yeah, well, that would be fun, where I have to turn around and go ahead and have to buy a whole new table. I have had a couple, and that is one thing, just in case someone comes through, because you get those people every now and then, and I've seen it in streams where someone says, "Well, how much for everything on your table?" At the beginning of each show, I give a rough estimate in my mind about, if someone pops in and does that, I'm not sitting there 15 minutes, because they'll be out to show the other side. I can pop off a number in less than a minute and give them a number, and we'll see if they're serious or not. So I'm waiting for that one though. I'm
That
waiting for
would
that
be
one.
impressive.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go
that would
sell
be
some.
nice. That way I could cut the show short. No, I'd turn around. I'd find a whole nother table with stuff, because I've got so much stuff behind me, so much stuff that I can sell. I could sit there and I could not have product come in for a week, and I would not run out of stuff to sell. So
That's a good place to be for sure.
yes, yeah.
But it's extra impressive because if somebody like me, constantly try to create things that don't currently exist, like when I 3D print or UV print or
Hmm.
laser engrave, like they're here because they were my idea, or I took someone else's idea and made it my own because I changed something about it or added something to it, or whatever I did. But you pick up pieces from all over the place. So if anyone jumps into your show, you got a little bit of everything. Um, but you seem to do so well with it. Even though I think if I could go, uh, just hop out of your show and jump into somebody else's, I could probably buy the same product. But I think it's your demeanor or the way that, just for somehow something about you, people seem to trust or want to not leave your show. Um, Obviously, you know what you have too. Somebody come in like, "Hey, do you have a quarter with this year on it?" You're like, "No, but I do have this year." Like, "Okay, I'll take it." Um, Whatever it is you do, and I can't put my finger on it, it's pretty fucking incredible.
Well, one, you are a very talented and handsome man, I may say, now that I
Oh,
see you
thank
on
you.
camera. But no, I don't have the creativity side of me. I'm always business minded. I have an accounting degree, so I always go straight to numbers, and that's my part of it. So if I ever get a partner, it's gonna have to in this project or it's something along those lines. And me and you, we've teamed up a couple of times on some different things. You're the creative mind. You're like, send me send me ideas, and I'm up there, dude. If you like it, I'm good with it. Just roll. And so that's what's impressive is you're the creative soul. You're the creative person, and I wish I had more of that in me, but just knowing what you have and being able to not waste a person's time is important because the old saying time is money, and in any business that is correct. But I think also, again, it goes back to my background. I like making personal connections with people. I can remember 30 years ago when I sold a recliner. I was in furniture business for a long time to a person. Whenever I drive by their house now, I can say, I remember whenever such and such lived there and I sold them X, Y, and Z. I try to do that with the coins. I try to remember people's first names. I won't mention their names on stream because some people want to remain anonymous unless they give me permission. But I'll sit there and I'll remember in the past what people like. And so when I see their name pop up, if I have something new I think they'll like, I'll grab it real quick and say, hey, I know you liked this in the past. And I think that that's helped me. Um, and I think that builds a bond and that builds a trust in people. He's like, "Damn, I didn't buy that. I bought that from him 2 months ago, and he remembers I like that." That sort of thing, and that's what I try to do is try to create a one-on-one with the buyer, even though it might be a first-time buyer and they may never come back in. But I try to treat each and every one of them as an individual, not as a sale, and that's an important in this business is to get people to trusting you into again, Kitty and I started off as, you know, s- uh, I saw her in Cornverse's stream, and then I found out where she lived at. I was like, hey, that's 25 miles from me. And so I hopped into a stream, and it's just I bought something from her, and it comes and goes, and then she hopped in my show, bought something from me, and you just build those relationships. And it started off as a first time buyer. You just never know when that first time buyer is going to end up being like me and you, friends, and we talk a lot off of the platform and stuff along those lines, and that's what it's about is building those relationships with people.
That's it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I think the way you are with numbers, your memory, and you build those relationships up. So if I get this awesome piece, I'm like, oh yeah, I just got this off of Whatnot. It's a great piece. I wouldn't say that. I'd be like, I just got off of Whatnot. I got it from Jones. That's a good guy. So like you're part of the product, and the way you sell it is part of the experience. I think that's what it is. I definitely like that a lot. Um, do you have any fears?
There's no time to have fear.
Yeah, I guess
There
so.
is no time. I mean, in my life right now, there well, on personal notes and stuff along those lines, I've got elderly parents. My mom's going to have surgery on May the 12th, and that's a little scary because whenever she is on June 3rd, she will be 83. So she's going in for major surgery, microvascular decompression, which basically means they're going to do a C-shaped incision behind her ear right here, and they're going to go in, and she's got TN, trigeminal nerve. issues, and he has to cut through so many layers of brain and nerves, and there's like 10 layers of nerves that he has to get to this and figure out whether that's her issue or if there's vascular issues there, what is causing her pain and her problems. And so it's like a 3-hour surgery where um and so anything along those lines at the age of 83. And then my dad's basically homebound, and so we have people staying with him during the day. I'm gonna have to go stay with him at nights. And so the fear that would be my biggest fear right now is the unknown of the next several weeks, what it's going to look like coming out on the other side. June 1st, where are we going to be at? And but other than that, whenever it comes to coins or in this category or something along those lines, uh, you always had the fear of when you hit the start button, are people going to show up? Are people going to come to your room? Are people going to remember you today? Things along those lines. And there has been a few times here actually recently where I'll hit the start button and it'll be like a minute or two before the first person pops in you. And when you're in there by yourself, you're sort of sitting there going, what's going on?
So
Usually
lonely.
this room is filling up. I have 10, 15, 25 people in here by now. That thing starts rolling in. But, it just, but yeah, no, there's no time for fear. If you live with in fear, then you're not living. You have
Man,
to put that stuff to the side, and you just have to just roll with it. And that's part of my demeanor too. Is I don't get too high, I don't get too low, and just if I have an argument with my spouse, or if someone on here makes me angry or something at work, I let it bother me for about 10, 15 minutes. And then after that, I'm like going, it ain't worth it. Fuck it. And just let it roll off the back and move on to the next thing, because there's always going to be a next thing. So,
I like it. Yeah, good luck to you and Mama Jones and Papa Jones.
but thank you.
That's
Appreciate it.
a huge life stressor for sure. But man, it seems if anyone can handle it, it'd be you.
Ah, let's hope so. I don't know about keeping my old man up for 4 or 5 nights. That's gonna be different, trying to navigate that one, but we'll make it through. We'll make it through one way or the other. So
Hey man, I'm something of a night owl, so if you need someone to talk to, hit me up.
I will definitely do that.
I'll burn your ear up. I don't know if you like it, but I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, that one night, whenever we ended up talking like 3 hours. I was like going, dude, it's 2 o'clock. I got to get up at 6 and go to work. Let me get out of here. Come
That
on.
bad?
But no, it's all good, because every time I was like, okay, I gotta go, and we were like 30 minutes later. Damn, that was 30 more minutes. So no, it's all good. It was a good conversation. Always we hit a lot of topics that night. A lot of ground was covered.
Yep, I liked it. Well, let me ask you an impossible question, and it's impossible because there is no correct answer. But if you had to guess at any point in time in 2025, what are we looking like on prices on gold and silver?
Um, I've seen a lot of projections. I think a lot of people are aggressive with their numbers. With my background, I'd like to be a little bit more conservative and stuff along those lines. But I would not be surprised if we settled in the high 30s on silver. Um, Gold, 3,500, 3,600 an ounce would not be out of the question. Um, I think there's a lot of uncertainty in politically and in the business world and things along those lines. But there's a lot of stuff going on that needed to be corrected, and there's going to be some short-term pain for some bringing stuff back onshore that was sent offshore that shouldn't have. And I think in the long run, we're going. I think that's where we'll settle at. I think the days of seeing the $25 an ounce, $20 ounce silver, I don't think we'll ever see that again. Just like we won't ever see $1 for for a gallon of gas anymore. But it'll settle. It'll settle, and that'll be the new norm. Just like right now, 31, 32 is the new norm. I think the high 30s is where we're going to settle at.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Obviously, pure speculation. I always have this hope, though, and I'll listen to some talking heads on the internet, and they're always like, "Well, London's being drained of gold. It's all coming back to America. If you just look at the charts over 2024, it seems like China was buying everything up until like December. They bought nothing, and neither did anyone else, and America bought everything. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. Maybe the price is going to jump up. I need to buy more right now. All right, it's silver. We've been at a deficit for like 4 or 5 years, and now Samsung's coming out with a new solid state battery that's like almost pure silver. So all the silver I have is going to like triple in price. Maybe next week. And like, I need to buy more. So I got that squirrel in my head running all the time. It never
Uh,
happened. It never
yeah,
happened.
well, that's why I mean, that's why I'm always checking on the dip on the silver if I can get it. And like it was a couple weeks ago at 29, whenever it bottomed out, and I was up there going, I was pulling dollars left and right, and I was hitting all my wholesalers. I was hitting different people that I bought from in the past, trying to gobble that up so I could cost average down on some stuff that I might have bought, at 33 and 34 whenever it was at 33 and almost $34 an ounce when I was buying it. So I could cost average down to where I needed to be at. So whenever if I do sell an ounce at 32 with the fees, it doesn't kill me as opposed to, you know, s- s- I'm lucky there that I got to the point where I got a cost average that around here, around there, it in the end of the world. That's why you don't hear me getting aggressive and start yelling. If I last show I had an ounce sell for less than $30. I was up there going, "Well, that was fun. That's let's move on to the next." And that's the other thing is if something doesn't go like that one, there's always the next auction. So you've got to. And that was one of the mistakes I made in the beginning. And I have a lot of people reach out to me asking advice, asking, what do I need to do? Um, it's okay to set a price. You don't have to dollar and go everything. And actually, I don't dollar and go everything
It is
because if you
fun.
sell something for a dollar and whatnot, you automatically are going to lose money because that 30-cent transaction fee plus whatever you got into it. That's why I set $3 as it's a made up number. I could set it at $5. I mean, whatever the number is, you've got to set a number. But in the beginning, I would dollar and go, two and go, whatever, everything, and I took a lot of hits in the beginning. And it used to be 90% of my show would be buck and go. Now it's probably 50-50. There are certain things I will, and if the night's been going well, I'll turn around something I was going to set a price on. I will three and go it at that point in time. But that's one of the things that when I'm saying you always talked about earlier, always learning, always evolving your business model and things along those lines is started introducing surprise sets probably 4 months ago now, 3 4 months ago now. Well, Whatnot calls them surprise sets, the pack games, things along those lines, and that is a way that I can supplement something that I may have overpaid on, or something that that will make it where I can dollar and go a lot of more items because I've got a little bit of profit baked into these games, and that's how I also pay for people. Don't like to promote, pay for the promotion aspect of Whatnot. I will promote each every show, and I'll run two sets. My smaller set usually pays for my promotion, pays for the silver I give away, shipping. I try to cap my shipping instead of doing coupons. Making it easier on people, things along those lines. All of that profit goes to pay for those items. And then my big game goes toward, if I take a loss on, if I overpaid on a product and I have to sell it at $25, like a slab I overpaid on, I paid 75 for it and I'm only a Morgan slab and I'm only going to sell it for 50. I can subtract that $25 from the profit from the big game, and it's not killing me and things along those lines. So if I end up with a break even or a little bit ahead at the end of each show, it's a success. If I'm a little bit in the deficit, I'll do better next time. So, but that's one of the things, and I wasn't a big fan of them, but that's another thing that I think draws people to my room is the variety, not only in the product, but also in some people just want to play games and they don't want to sit there for auctions. Other people don't want anything to do with games. They want nothing but auctions. They can come to mine and they can sit there and they can have the best of both.
Yep.
They can sit there and do both. And so I think that adds a level of fun, adds a level of interest, diversity to a stream. And I think that really has propelled my business model over the last quarter, to make me more successful.
For sure. And I got a little secret, and I'll let you in because I have some inside market information. So if you watch the spot price, it goes like 32, 33, 34, and then it goes back down like to 31. That's because I just bought at 34. Every single
Yeah.
time it's going to go down. Every
Oh well,
time.
yeah, I'm guilty of that too. Whenever I see it start to climb, I'll sit there going, okay, I need to go ahead and buy it 32.50 before it gets to 33, because we do. People who see this podcast might not realize we're not making huge money on an ounce of silver. The margins are so thin, especially when you get through with the shipping expenses. All the other expenses are related to, I buy a product, guess what, I got to pay for shipping for that product to get to me. I mean, there's a lot of money that the people think that we're making all this money on the silver. We're not. If we're telling you we need a price, we need that. Just most of the time it's just a break even. Whatnot
Whatnot
spot.
spot. Yep, you always
Whatnot
say
spot
that.
is the fees plus the what we have in it, what the melt is that day. And that's what my replacement cost is on that ounce of silver. And if I get a dollar above that, yay, I made a dollar. If I didn't, then I lost a buck. So you know so and we all look for deals, and I don't begrudge anybody that comes in and gets an ounce for less than melt. If I didn't want to do that, I would have set the price on 100% of my stuff. That's the nature of the game. That's what we do, and it's all chance. Whether it's in a surprise set or whether it's auction, as a seller, is always a chance you take. You win some, you lose some. You just hope at the end of the night you've won more than you lost. So and that's a good night.
Yep. I would definitely say this is not something you want to get into if you're trying to make it rich, but
No.
it is really fun. And before, when I was just selling, like obviously I thought the seller was just trying to maximize their profits. Why wouldn't they? That's why they got in business, just like any other business, to make money. So that made sense. But if I buy something, regardless of source, especially nowadays, most of the things are on the internet. Yeah, I got to pay that shipping plus whatever they paid for it. They're putting a premium so they don't lose money, and I have to pay that price. And then in order for me to ship it, I have to buy the bubble wrap and like the little brown paper, maybe a cardboard box, or the little mailer package it goes into, and the tape, and like everything that goes into me packaging, as well as I need to have a thermal label, a thermal printer, just so I can print the shipping label.
Hmm.
Not to mention that every auction, yeah, they're going to get a set with 30 cents plus your transaction fee, because Whatnot gets charged from a online transaction service because everyone must pay with cards. Well, there's a service separate from Whatnot that charges a fee in order to perform their
Hmm.
services. So if we're talking, okay, spots 33, there's so many things stacked on top of that that if we just got spot for it, we've already lost $5. If you
Yeah,
get it in the
I mean,
mail,
there's,
we lost
I
it.
mean, I've a sort of a rough estimate, with the fees that we pay. We're around 11-12% is what on top of the price of something is is our margins, and that's break even whenever you bake into all the other stuff and stuff like that. So, I mean, if I make, on $100, if I make $10 profit, I just broke even because 10% is on top of. I mean, it's not really profit. It's
Yeah.
and people don't understand that. And it's not something for them to worry about. That's part of us as sellers, and the successful ones and stuff like that. They have that model, and that's why it's always changing. That's always why you're fine tuning. That's why you always delete this and add that, and do this a little bit different. Do I need to advertise more of this one? Okay, I got bookmarks. I don't have as many as I normally do. Do I need to do I need to up that a little bit? Another thing I do is I'll sit there and I'll go through and I'll share my stream to different to some of my buyers. I'll go through different shows. I'll go back as far as a year since I've been doing this. A year was in March. I'll go back to shows in last April, last May, and I'll find names that haven't been back in my room for a while, and I'll just share something to them. It's like, hey, just saw you bought from me here. You just come back and give me another chance, or if you forgot about me, here I am. And I picked up a lot of people that way, and people like the little individualized attention and things along those lines. And that's something that I try to do. Is we were talking about building a relationship, and as easy as just sharing a show to somebody. Hey, you know, didn't forget about you. Enjoyed your time. I like selling you whatever. Or if I have a product and I remember that person buying it, I'll shoot them a line or something along those lines. Hey, this upcoming show, I got several people that like casino tokens. I just bought 14 at a coin show yesterday, so I dropped them a line, letting them know, hey, I got these casino tokens. If you got time, swing by the next couple of shows, just different things like that, that you built your clientele in your head, what they're looking for. And that's why I had people DMing me about they want this, that at the coin show. It was a small coin show. I wasn't able to fulfill a lot of needs, but there was two that I was able to connect the coin with the person. I made actually $0 on the transaction. That's not the point. Is they needed it, they wanted it. They sent me the money. I bought it for them. I'll send it to them, and that's you don't always have to make a dollar as a in doing this. You build that relationship and they'll come back and buy more and more and more from you, and that's what I'm here for, is that repeat business. You don't be a fly by night, don't be a dickhead, don't be an asshole. Uh, be
Had a coin
be
like that one
genuine,
time.
and people can tell if you're not being genuine. You got to be genuine whenever you're doing this, and that's the important part, is just be yourself and be genuine, and just if you don't enjoy doing this, don't do it. Um, because it shows and your sales will show, and people won't mind taking advantage of you. Um, my chat will protect me. When I say protect, people will bid even though they don't want that product or something along those lines. And people call that shield bidding on Discord or Reddit or whatever. No, it's like people like, hey, he looked out for me on that. This is extra $2, $3 he needs on this round, or he needs on this product. That's not gonna make or break me because I'm a collector. Let me go ahead and swipe, and I'll give him the win this time because he'll look out for me on the other side. And I have people that I'll know they don't want that product, but they bid it up to a point that whatnot spot, and just looking out for me just because I've been whatever for them. And so that means a lot to a seller, but it also means I'm doing my job right if I've got people looking out for me, even though I've never physically met them, I'm not friends with them. I just sell a product to them, but I've built that trust with them. I've built that relationship with them, that they're willing to do that.
That's huge. And that's one of the things I like most about you. So, I got in your show last night. We rated it from VetBet, and then I bought something from you, and then VetBet actually called me, and I got back in your show, and I was like, "Hey, you want to sell me that piece we talked about?" He's like, "I ran it." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I felt bad. So you ran it, I bought it, and then I threw in that tip, and there was a tip, but then you threw a bunch more stuff in my bag. So it's like I can't lose in your show, right? As a buyer, and then like you won't lose as a seller just out of that mutual respect. And you
Yes,
have
sir.
that with a lot of people, which is
Yep.
awesome.
That it yeah, yeah, that means a lot. And that, again, that goes back to just those relationships, just making people. And when I say make people feel like important, they are important. Each and every auction, each and every sale that I make, I mean, I've got almost, I think, 5,400 reviews, 5-star rating. um as a seller, you're gonna get that occasional bad review. Most of my bad reviews are giveaways. I had one right before me and you started talking about this right here. Someone messaged me, I can't leave a review, I didn't receive this giveaway. I was like, well, if the post office delivered it, if you're able to leave a review, if you didn't see it, I mean, once I drop it off at the post office, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. If it comes damaged, a ripped envelope, not I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to send you another one that that was free. I mean, it's just one of those things, and but those tear at me just like I read every review because those are learning experiences and things along those lines, and so the bad ones, even though I got 5,400, hurt me, or I'm concerned about those just as much as I enjoy the 5-star reviews and things along those lines. So, um, but the giveaways, those are the ones that leave a 1 star on those. Those are the ones that are a pain in my ass.
I've come up, or at least a way to justify it to myself. The simple story is, some people fucking suck. That's just it.
That too.
Because so like I had a guy, and originally was my fault. I packaged his stuff up, and I just thought I could reuse a box because I'll recycle packing material. Like that
Yeah.
should cost me money. Well,
Yep.
somebody had sent me something, or I bought something that came in a priority mail box. I put my label on it, shipped it. Dummy, I didn't know. They started shipping it like it's priority. I guess there's a barcode on it. I don't know how they did it. It got to his post office, but then it was like the post office was short because priority boxes cost more than my label. So he hits me up on the messenger and whatnot, like, this has been a terrible experience. I don't know what happened. They want me to come pick it up. I'm at work. I was like, all right. Just tell me to post office. I'm gonna call them and see what's going on. I called him. Super nice guy. The post office, like, yeah, I found your package. This is what happened. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. I'm glad you have it. Can you send it back to me? I'll pay whatever you want. They sent it back to me. I repackage it in like some just off-brand packaging that I bought, because I just get all my stuff off of Amazon. And then I send it back to him. He gets it and he's like, well, it took a long time. I'm like, bro, fuck you, dude. What do you want me to do? Like, so,
Yeah.
like, it's just little shit like that. It was like, there's literally nothing I can do. There's something wrong with you. Your life is screwed up somehow. You're not going to be happy no matter what. And like me and the wife, we have a couple businesses, and we try really hard to maintain a reputation, not just for ourselves, but our employees and everything. No matter what we do, somebody's going to complain. Somebody wants to point a finger back at us, and like we you talked about everything that you go through. You prepare for your shows days in advance. You're going to coin shows trying to hook people up because you remember that they were looking for that thing before, and you're trying to, give back every way that you get given anything. And like there's so much stuff outside of your little stream and whatnot that you're doing constantly, and then somebody's going to complain about a free gift, bro. So some people suck. That's the only way I can deal
Yep.
with it. There's nothing I
Yep.
can do. It's impossible.
Yep. You're correct. And we're human. We're gonna make mistakes. I forgot to left things out of a package. I've sent the wrong item. Hey, I'm human. Things happen. I'll make it right. But then to after you make it right, to turn around and then still leave a negative review,
Yeah. Like it's not.
or like you said, the giveaways. Again, I had one a couple days ago. I got a 1 star. I've had probably out of 5,400 reviews, I think 10 or less, less than 5 stars. So that's one thing I do pride myself on. But I got a 1 star. The guy says, I never even got this. Why? What's the purpose of a giveaway if you're not going to send it? And blah, blah, blah. And, you can respond to reviews. And so I posted on there again, it was a free gift. You received it, it came first class envelope. If you would not be able to leave a review if you didn't receive it. If you got it and threw it in the trash for the rest of your junk mail, not my problem, not my fault, not my issue. But then you're going to turn around. He's like, there was no response. I was like, I went back and I searched all my DMs. The guy never even reached out to me. So what he's saying is there is no tracking on first class envelopes. That's what he was talking about. I never did update him on the tracking. And I was like, there's no tracking to update. It's first class. So, like you said, some people suck. You're not going
There's
to make
nothing
everybody
you can
happy,
do.
and that's part of the reason I got a retail in 2014 after being in it for since '94 was the Walmart mentality. Walmart ruined retail whenever they, no questions asked, used to accept return items. Even if they were 2 years old, they would take it back and replace it. And that's the mentality that we've gotten to as a society, that we expect that. And we get that in the coin world, in the auction worlds and stuff along those lines. That I'm sorry, that one Canadian maple that are known to be milky came to you with a milk spot, but we show it on the auction. We show you both sides. We show you what you're going to receive, and then you still complain. That is those are the ones that I just, you know
Yeah.
can
That
drive me
just
nuts.
there's definitely the good people way outweigh the bad.
Oh,
Thank God.
absolutely, 100%, 100%. But you, just like with everything else, bad news spreads faster than good news.
Yeah.
And so the bad review will stick in your crawl, and you'll remember that one more than you do the other 10 good ones that you got, just because you're like going, damn it, motherfucker.
I literally tried. Now,
You literally, I mean, it's the postal service. It's their fault, not mine.
that two things. One, um yeah, the customer's always right. No, sometimes they
No,
are.
that is wrong.
But that's a lie. That's a lie that
Yes.
somebody in sales gave you. Again, and you said you were on looking up whatnot stuff on Reddit. I feel like I've done it. It's funny. But Reddit literally exists just to talk shit and look at titties. Like that's the point of Reddit. I've come to that conclusion.
Well, the only reason I downloaded it and I got on there, and I hadn't been on there in a long time, was I was the someone had posted something about me having shield bitters in my stream, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What's a shield bitter?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, they're like," and what it is people don't understand moderators and the job of a moderator in the stream. I mod up a lot of people because I'll stream for 3, 4, 5 hours, and who's going to sit there for 5 hours if I only have one mod? The purpose of a moderator is to help guide me, keep up with the chat if someone's requested stuff, because I am operating solo. Um, but the point of that was his moderators are bidding on items. Well, they're streamers too. They're customers just like you. Just because they have MOD next to their name does not give them any more power than what you have, other than being able to see the red tab whenever everybody's typing in titties, anal, and asshole, and
That's the best
trying to get
part.
the host to break character and trying to get them all flustered and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that people come up with, but I mean that's the only benefit of being a mod. And but it does help a streamer. It does help me navigate. And I might be 3 requests behind, and I got someone send me a hidden message or a red chat saying Libertad's requested or Morgan's requested this year or that year. And that's just a way of helping us navigate and keep the stream moving smooth and try to make it look effortlessly, even though behind the camera you're about to pull your hair out. But
Yeah.
yeah, mods have no, they have no other powers. They're not getting paid. There's only like, I know of 2 mods that get paid by the bigger streamers, but other than that, there's zero benefit for them other than being able to, you know, I'll go in their stream and I'll help them out, or just help them along those lines and stuff along those lines. Actually, I'm having an issue. I can't be a mod. I have the mod name, but I've had an issue for going on 3 months now where I can't pin announcements. I can't send hidden messages. Whatnot's been working on it forever and they can't figure out what's going on with it. But to all you streamers out there who are like, why doesn't Jones mod like he used to? I can't. I can't pin
That's
an
weird.
announcement. I can do a send a red chat right now, but that's a separate issue.
That's strange. Yeah, hopefully they fix
Yeah,
that.
that is one of the stranger things is I can't figure that one out and they can't either. So I mean they keep on sending diff suggestions and this, that, and the other, and still not working. It'll work one. I can append one announcement, and then I can't do it 30 seconds later. It's the weirdest thing. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like if somebody's not a seller and they happen to watch this, then maybe they kind of get that behind the scenes story that you gave us. So this has been very interesting for me. But because I kind of have insight from a buyer and a seller, And I know a lot of these people like you off platform, we can talk. I feel like I'm not even going to open the app if I don't have the money to buy. And there, I don't feel like there's any shame in that. Like we got real
No,
lives other
absolutely.
than whatnot. So, but when I do, because so many people have helped me out so much, especially you, um, I'm gonna get whatever he just said. Oh, I need 65 for this. You're getting 65, if not more. And if I don't, then I'm going to tip you to meet that number, just because I want to maintain that same relationship and same respect level. And I know what you're going through. You know, like you make it
Yes.
sound easy, you make it look easy. It's never actually that easy, and you put in so much effort, so much time that I wish more people could just, well, now they will. Now they'll know from somebody as big as you what's really going on other than just the stream itself. So this has been freaking awesome. Um, if you're down, I'm down to go longer. We have gone over an hour now, so
I
it's up to
got the
you.
time. We can keep on going.
Okay. Well, I think like we hit the whatnot. So let's get to know you a little better. Do you have any other hobbies? Are you in the crypto? Are you in the crypto?
No, I know zero about crypto.
No magic
Although
internet money.
although less than probably 300 yards from where I'm sitting at right now, there's actually a mining operation
That's cool.
in the industrial park over here beside where I live at. That's about the closest I've gotten to crypto. My venture, like I said, my venture into precious metals has been enough. The 401k and the stock market, I've divested myself more from that and more into the precious metals and putting redirecting funds and things along those lines into this venture and stuff along those lines. Crypto I might get to at some point, but I think everything is overpriced right now, so I'm just going to let it bottom out because I've seen Bitcoin go from 100,000 down to 20,000. Of course, I wish I had bought it whenever it first started, and there was, I mean, it was less than $1,000. That would have been nice, but uh, little people like us will never get those opportunities because most of the time those opportunities go to the big wells, the big spenders, the big investors, and by the time those opportunities come to us, that stock price is getting ready to drop, or that stock price is getting ready to the IPO, it was it came out at 35, it spiked to 300, and it's going to settle back at about 40. But me and you, we're going to be buying it at 150 to 200, and we're going to lose our ass. So that's my thoughts on that. But I am 53, and uh, technologically, that sort of thing, I understand it, but I don't understand it enough to put. I'd rather put $1,000 into gold than I had, or silver than I had an object that I can't physically hold in my hand. Even though stocks, I would do that with things along those lines, but that's a little bit different. But just I just can't wrap my head completely around it.
That's fine. I'm
But
just
I know you're a big crypto guy, so
I wouldn't say that. I'm into a bunch of different things. That's my biggest problem is I can't decide. So I'm into a bunch of different stuff all at the same time, and I'm nerdy. So crypto kind of like falls into my camp. I
wait a
was just
second.
curious.
Wait. Sexy, silver, and nerdy are not two words that I would ever put together. The guy that sits there and sells dildos and dicks and titties for a living on Whatnot for a living, but on Whatnot is a nerd. I don't think so. Although I'm the same way. Project. It's projecting. That's what we're doing. We project when we get on Whatnot, as opposed to what our real lives and what our real images are and stuff like that. So
Yeah. No. Honestly, I feel like, and maybe this is true for most everyone, but different scenarios, you kind of fall into a different character almost. So, like when you go to work, you probably act a little bit different than you do when you're at home with your kids, right?
yeah,
Or in the grocery store line, in public, or when it's just you and the boys on the back porch having a beer. Like so, I feel like there's different flavors of me, and crypto is just one of them. at first, like, when I first heard about it, like, that's stupid. Who the hell would put actual money into something like Bitcoin? Because the only reason the price goes up is because more people keep putting money into it. What kind of brainwashing campaign is this? But then I learned a little bit more about it, and I was like, bro, this is sweet. Maybe I just drank the Kool-Aid. I don't know. But I was curious if you were into it because I feel like the path to precious metals is very similar to the path of crypto.
Mhm.
Crypto's just new and it's digital, but precious metals, like you said, I can hold it in my hand. This is mine. Maybe I'll hold it like this. I don't know, but
Well, I can see the crypto industry. I could see that really exploding because, I mean, the government is creating a reserve, or I don't fully understand, but they're creating a fund, a wealth fund, I guess you could say, just like the Saudi Arabia has the wealth fund, and um, where they invest in different things, and we're creating one for digital assets as a nation, and that's going to be the next frontier that we're going to try to lead and make a lot of people a lot of money. So I could see that happening. I could
yeah.
see it really exploding.
One day I'll have to hit you up and we're gonna talk about it. I'll give you my view on it, my little speech, and we'll see if I can convert you. But all right, so what else would you say that you're into? Because obviously if I was curious about gold or silver, you'd be like, "Well, it looks like it's aluminum or maybe it's silver." And you could tell me all about it, right? Are you into anything else? Like, are you a huge golf guy, car guy, like anything else?
I've had all those hobbies in not the cars. Well, actually, my first car was a '65 Mustang. I do wish I still had that back.
Right?
But I played golf. But when my second kid, I guess it gets back to my competitive nature. When my second son was born 17 years ago, I gave up golf because I'm not the type that could go to the golf course and play once a month or play once every 2 months and hack it up and shoot over 100. It would drive me nuts. I would be slamming golf clubs and throwing things. Of course, I've matured since then somewhat, but I don't didn't have the time and don't have the time to dedicate to it because golf is something you have to play on, just like dealing with streaming and dealing with stuff like this. You've got to do it on a regular basis in order to be successful at it. And I don't want to do something unless I'm going to be successful at it, or if I've got the time to dedicate to it, because why do I want to waste my time
Yeah, all
and
or
spend
nothing.
it? Because golf, I mean, because all these hobbies you're talking about are expensive. There's nothing that is inexpensive about any of these. As far as, I mean, my golf clubs would be 20 years old, so I'd have to go buy a new set of clubs and the golf balls and the green fees and the
Yep.
carts. And if you're going to be a member at a country club or whatever the case may be, all of that's expensive stuff. And so uh, I, my parents, they have a 5 acre pond in front of where they live at their house. So I don't do as much as we used to, but me and the boys would go fishing and stuff along those lines. And I've never been a big hunter. I've always been a lazy fuck when it comes to that. I never saw the point of getting up to go duck hunting when it's cold as hell outside, to go sit in water that is cold to go shoot a duck that I'm not going to eat, or um, I mean, if I wanted to hunt deer, I can literally go. I got a state park across from me. I There's dead ones, new ones every day out in front of my house. I can just go get one of those and skin those instead of having to go sit in the stand for hours on end, praying that a buck comes through or something along those lines. So I live in a rural area, so there's a lot of wildlife and stuff like that. Against across from me is actually a dove field. And so when dove season comes in, uh, I have a metal roof on my house, and you hear ding, ding, ding
All the
from
BBs.
the shot from. I've had to call the game wardens a couple times, going, they're not exactly supposed to be shooting toward the road on these doves. So can you just go talk to them? Because there's nothing like getting hit with some pellets coming down on you. So yeah, but no, I don't have any hobbies. I've always put my family first. I've always put other things for work, everything else first, and always myself second. And I'm still in that same position now, but this is my therapy. Coins, gold, bullion, streaming, all of this is my therapy, and so I've dedicated myself to this, and like I said, I'll give this 100%, and I'll hopefully I will never get burned out on it. Onward to 50,000 followers. Nah, just
Here
I'll
we
never
go.
get to that point. But it's just like, I mean, it's nuts when I'm sitting here last April. If I think I had 2,000, 3,000, May, whatever it was, and now sitting here like getting ready to cross over 21,000. I'll just sit there going, dude, what the fuck?
Impressive. Impressive for
And
sure.
sorry, Dalton, if you see this on Spotify, I'm using bad language now. No, my 12-year-old. So, but that's the other part of my 12-year-old. Getting him. That's a connection that we've made. Getting him involved in the chat loves him whenever he sits in the chair and he starts selling things and things along those lines, and he starts admonishing them about the price of something, and you see that price shoot up real fast, and like, why y'all trying to steal from me and my daddy, or whatever he says, and that price shoots up. And so um all the tips that usually happen in a stream that he usually gets those, not the big one you sent me last night, but all the $5, $1, $10, and stuff like that, he'll get, and he'll turn around and he'll reinvest it. He's got himself his own little
Yeah,
impressive
got
little
a stacker.
collection going on. No gold yet, other than like the 1/4 grain or something like that. But he's got lots of ounces, and he'll turn around, and he had a birthday show. He we did a birthday show for him in December, and he got a good amount of money, and he turned around and spent every single cent of it with me buying different stuff. And I'll cut him a little bit of a break, but he's got to learn, just like the cost of something is the cost of something. Nothing is free, and that's one of the life's lessons why I do it that way. I mean, I could give him all the ounces if I wanted to, but he has to learn that you have to work for something. You have to build that work ethic, and you have to build wealth and things along those lines, and it takes work to do it. So so sorry, someone just texted me and it distracted me, but that's just, I mean, that's another thing here is the friends that I've made. But then he goes to all the coin shows with me. In the beginning, it was get out of school, because I would usually go on a Friday, and he's like, "Can I go with you?" I was like, "Yeah, you can go with me." I was like, "I know you don't give two damns about this coin show, but just like we went to the one yesterday, he was like, he got up early with me, he was on the road with me, and so he likes doing, he's getting into it. He don't want to admit it, but he likes hanging out with his old man son. So
Well, good job, Dad. That's awesome. I
yeah,
I
the
hope
next
mine are gonna
generation, we got to cultivate the next generation of buyers, sellers,
pound
and,
money.
and
Yeah.
and collectors. So
Yeah, because if you don't teach them, somebody else will, and you don't know what that's going to be.
yeah,
So, hats off to you, man. That's awesome. And I love that kind of relationship because he sees you and he sees everyone in your show and what they say and how they treat you, and he don't understand what's really going on, but he's like, Dad's on to something. There's a reason. Something's going on. He'll figure it out. But he's going to be the same way because he's gonna mimic you. And he's got some big shoes
well,
to fill, but he's
I
got
was
a
gonna
good role
say, poor
model.
fella, if he's gonna mimic me, but we'll work around those issues.
Man, can
So
you imagine? Just think about it. You said you were what, 53?
yes,
If you were stacking when you were 12, bro, dude,
hell, if I was stacking when I was damn 25,
when
shit,
I was
twenty
born,
dollars an ounce,
right? Gold was like, I think the peak in 1989 when I was born, the peak was like $400.
mm,
If my dad would have been stacking back then, and he would have like, you know what, son, this is for you one day. And like, obviously, I can't even speak English yet, but if he would have just set that aside, if he would have been stacking my entire life, bro, the amount of wealth that you would possess at this point in time. So I have a 5-year-old, and we're literally just trying to figure out. So we have a different letter piggy bank for each letter of his name. So pennies go in this one, nickels go in this one, dimes, um, we're just trying to identify the coins at this point and put them in the right ones. Um, but I really want to do what you're doing and teach him one day, and he'll understand real value because, and I don't know if you know this, I'm sure you do, but when I open my bank app on my phone and I'd be like, okay, I got some money in my checking account, we can go out to dinner tonight. That's not, my money's not actually in there. If, I mean, Google fractional banking, but that's a line of credit from the bank. There's no actual money there. So that's one of the reasons I got into precious metal, because it legit is money, been valuable to human beings for thousands of years. It's literally created by stars. And pick a country that has a national bank, a central bank, and what do they have in their vaults, right?
Hmm.
I don't care what happens politically, whether it's left, right, red, blue. I don't care who's lying to me. But I think the precious metals is a way to just give you that ease, that sense of it's going to be okay. The worst can happen. I have a backup plan. And if you could
Well,
teach your, go ahead.
you have that tangible asset in your hand.
Yep.
I mean, a case in point, I went and one of my last show proceeds, it goes into one bank and I physically take it over to another bank. Don't ask me why. I just,
Old school style. Walk in
yeah,
the bank.
I just do it. But when I went to withdraw money from the account, the teller, I was like, all big bills is fine. And it's not a lot of money, people. Don't y'all don't be thinking this.
Baller.
But she looked at me and she was like, the head banker just left, or the head teller just left, and she didn't leave us a block of money. I don't know if I can have enough cash on hand to hand you. I'm like, going, you're a fucking bank, you don't have a couple $1,000 in $100 bills that you can sit there and give to me? And that's not a small bank, it's a pretty big size regional, it's a regional bank. And I'm up there going, that's what you're talking about,
You're
is they
seeing through the
physically, you can't go, if you have $100,000 in the bank and you want to go take out, they're going to say you got to either wire it, you got to get a cashier's check.
come back tomorrow when we approve it.
You have to come back in a couple of days because we have to order cash from a central location in order to be able to do that. And even then, they're not going to want to do that. So
I'm gonna tell you a secret.
that's
It's a scam.
uh
I don't know how
s-
deep you want to get into it, but it legit is. So fractional banking is something, if anybody listens to this, probably nobody will unless they're from the CU. But for whatever, for the record, because it's going on the internet, if anybody happens to come across it, I would Google that and look up whose money it actually is, because everyone has the fine print when you open a bank. Is it your money or is it the bank's? And
it's the banks, it's the
where's the money
banks.
actually come from? Right? Sure, we have a money printer. The Fed's constantly printing money. Sure, but our money is actually created through debt, which is why we have the fractional banking. As in, I put in 100 grand, right? I wish I put in $100, and then they only have to keep 10% of it. So 90% of it they can loan back to you because you want to go buy a boat or something. Um, I really don't believe in the dollar. Uh, I don't believe in the banking system as the way it is, and I really do think maybe we have a chance as a country to see something change under this administration. Again, I don't care who's in Washington, who's lying to me, but there's been a lot of talks. The fact that we have a crypto reserve, like you were talking
Yep.
about, we have a Bitcoin national reserve, and then we have a crypto reserve. They're two separate things, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But they literally came out. They didn't give a lot of detail. They said that we're going to monetize America's assets. What does that mean? Your best guess is mine. But do we have gold in Fort Knox? Are we going to reevaluate that gold? So if I have a 1/10 ounce gold, Will I wake up tomorrow and it'd be a lot more? I don't know. I mean, I'd love to think so. Maybe that's just me being optimistic, but is it impossible? Has it happened before? Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize if they were to go into Fort Knox and they were to reevaluate the price of the gold, if people don't realize, I'm not going to say because I could be wrong, but people don't realize what the valuation was of the gold sitting in Fort Knox right now. They could turn around and revalue it and they could put whatever damn number they want on it. And that's what it's going to be. And our debt could be wiped out as a nation completely. Um,
Oh yeah.
and and because well, I'll say the number. I mean, it's like valued at like $500 an ounce.
45
Is it? Oh,
In
is it?
America, 35 in Europe. We were 35 too. We just kind of ran into a problem when France called our bluff. That's a fun story too. We can talk about it if you want, but yeah, we ended up reevaluating our own gold because all banks have a gold reevaluation account, central banks. I'm not trying to interrupt you and steal your
No,
thunder
no,
here,
no, no,
but
no. Go ahead.
that's the kind of shit I nerd out on. It's so interesting to me because it's so easy to just think like, yeah, I put my time, effort, skills. I wake up early. I groom. I put on a proper whatever they tell me to at a certain time. I wind up at a certain place. They pay me per hourly. I can pay my bills. One day maybe, hopefully, my 401k help let me retire. But if you actually learn the system that we're forced to operate in, you're probably going to be a gold bug.
Yep.
We could totally reevaluate it. I started to laugh because I thought you was like, if we actually go in Fort Knox and there ain't shit in there.
Well, that's the other side. I wasn't gonna go down that one. I wasn't gonna go down that one, but I'm just gonna assume that it is there. Let's just.
I hope
I'm
so.
gonna.
I hope so. That is interesting. Now I really do. I'm gonna call you one day and be like, "You busy? Good. You got 3 hours? We're about to talk about this."
I'll
Uh,
make sure I'm at work. I'll make sure I'm at work, and I'll close the door that day. So.
there you go. Get paid for it,
Yep.
man. Um, this has been awesome. Thank you for doing this. By the way, I know you're busy. You already said you're about to hang up with me and
Hell,
go.
we've only hit 10% of the topics we did not discuss topics ahead of time, but we've only hit 10% of what we talked about the other night. So hell,
You got another
if
one?
you want to do another one of these, I'll be game for it one day. We don't want to overload the people with abort. Although this would be good for people that can't sleep. Just listen to these two soothing voices, and we'll put you to sleep within 15 minutes, guaranteed. So.
Absolutely. Actually, I came with the idea of starting a podcast simply because I love listening to podcast. So I was like, well, I can do that. Why not?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you had on your mind? Maybe you wanted to talk about?
No, I am just here, just chatting with my buddy, and just
I love it,
having a drink, whatever that may be, and just chilling on a Sunday night. So
man. Well, cheers to that, bro. Appreciate you. And Jones, JonesJos3009 on Whatnot. So if you made it this far in the video, you better follow him, and you're definitely going to enjoy it. If there's anyone you can trust on there, there's a lot of people that you can't. I'll say it, but there's one of them that you definitely can. You'll have a good
appreciate the
time,
kind words.
and a lot of people in his chat. That's how you know they're good people. Because if Jones deals with them, that's a good source to get you started. If you happen to just listen to this and want to get on the app as well. Um, I almost want to keep this going because now I'm starting to get a buzz, dude. And I'm like, I could talk to you all night. But I'm gonna let you go. I do appreciate it, and
Actually, I think I've seen I've got tagged like 7 times. I think Kitty did a pop up tonight, and she's probably wondering where the hell is Jones at. So that's probably she said I might do one. So I didn't tell her I was doing the podcast tonight. So I guess whenever I hang up with you here, I'm gonna go over there and see what she's got going on. So
we did I think 2 episodes ago was Kitty. So let's wrap this up and let's go jump on Kitty's show and tell her we love her.
okay,
All
thank you,
right. Well,
sir.
thank you. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O in that G-L-E.